Welcome back. This is your Canmore real estate market update for June 2023. June 2023 also marks the end of the second quarter, so we'll take a look back at the stats for the last 3 months. And it also marks the end of the first 6 months of the year, if you can believe that. So we'll take a look at the stats for the last 6 months as well and see how they compare to 2022. Let's get right into it. June 2023 was a fairly busy month. We had 39 sales overall. That's down about 17% in sales volume compared to June last year, where we had 47 sales. But the price point is up 19%. So the average price point this year was $1.112 million. The average square foot price in the market for Canmore this June was $737 a square foot. And properties were selling fairly quickly again. We're back to about 36 days on market. Again, due to primarily the lack of inventory, but we'll get into that again as we move forward. How did those sales break down for the month? Well, we had 9 single-family home sales. The average sale price for those single-family homes was $1.731 million, or $798 a square foot, and they were on the market for just 20 days. So moving real quick this month for single-family homes. Half duplexes, we had 2 sales. The average sale price was $1.868 million. Average square foot price was $805 per square foot, and they were only in the market for 11 days, so moving real quick, half duplexes. Townhomes, we had 9 properties sell this month at just over $1 million, $1,024,000. Average square foot price was $659, and they were on the market for about 31 days. Apartments, we had 5 sales in the month of June. The average sale price was $722,000, or $558 a square foot. And they sat for a little bit longer this month. They were on the market for an average of about 50 days. We had 1 land sale this month at $1.339 million, and that was on the market for about 21 days. Hotel condos, another busy month for hotel condos. We had 12 sales, averaging $693,000 or $798 a square foot for that market segment. And they were on the market for about 41 days. And then finally, we had tourist homes. We had 1 tourist home sell at an average of $1.57 million or $915 a square foot. So big money for a tourist home this month. And that was on the market for quite a while, 183 days. That was a brand new construction, and that should be finished sometime in the next year or so. So a busy month for June. As I say, it was a little bit down compared to June of 2022, but June 2022 was a busy month. We've just come into the end of that sort of pandemic sales cycle where everything was going pretty crazy. In that month, the average square foot price was $671 last year compared to $737 this year. And properties on the market were about the same. So they were selling for 31 days on market in June 2022. And this year they were selling for about 36 days on the market. So how does the second quarter compare? Let's get into those figures right now. Sales for the second quarter of 2023, we had 116 sales in the 3 months, April, May, June. This year at an average price point of $1.124 million. That's up about 14% over 2022's average price point. Sales are down 33% when you look at 2022's second quarter. As I say, that 2022 second quarter was absolutely bonkers. It was right at the peak of the pandemic pricing and right at the peak of people really wanting to come to Canmore. So that's the volumes definitely dropped off a little bit, as is our inventory, and we can talk about that in just a little while. But prices up about 14% year over year for the second quarter. The average square foot price for the second quarter of 2023 was $743 per square foot, and the properties were sitting on the market for about 43 days. So still selling fairly quickly, even with the lack of inventory and sort of buyer demand dropping just slightly over the last sort of 3 months, I would say. 2022, where if we go back for 5 years, just to give you an idea of some of the history in the market for the second quarter anyway, the second quarter of 2022, we had 173 sales. As I say, that was 33% higher than this year. The average price point was $968,000. Square foot price was $708 per square foot, and properties were selling real quick. They were selling in about 31 days on average. 2021, another pandemic year, we had 242 sales. That was a really busy second quarter in 2021. Average price point was $836,000 or $618 per square foot. And again, things were selling quickly at 33 days on the market. 2020, this is when you really see where the pandemic hit. So the pandemic hit in the second quarter of 2020. We had 77 sales in the second quarter of 2020. Average price point was $775,000. Average square foot price was only $435 per square foot. And properties were sitting on the market a little bit longer because of the uncertainty of the pandemic back then, selling in about 92 days. 2019, I always like to compare 2019 because it was our busiest sales year pre-pandemic. And in 2019, in the second quarter, we had 168 sales. Average price point was $719,000 or $518 per square foot, and things were selling in about 60 days. So 2023, we have a few less sales, but price points up 36% since 2019 in the second quarter. How does that look for the first half of 2023? Let's get into those numbers right now. So when we look at the first 6 months of a year, it really starts to give us some good data. And the first 6 months of 2023, we had 204 sales. That's down 41% in sales volume from 2022. The average price point this year was $1,057,000, and that's up 12% from 2022. Average square foot price was $733 a square foot, and properties have been sitting on the market or selling for about, in average, about 50 days for the first 6 months of this year. That's about 42% longer than 2022. So 2022, we had 346 sales in the first 6 months. The average price point was $934,000 or $713 a square foot, and properties were selling really quickly, 29 days on average to sell in the first half of 2022. 2021, a whopping 512 sales in the first 6 months. It was a crazy year for sales in 2021. Average price point was $806,000 or $590 per square foot, and properties were selling on average for about 49 days. In 2020, again with that pandemic hitting, we only had 169 sales in the first half of 2020 at an average of $753,000 or $473 a square foot. Properties were sitting on the market for about 79 days in 2020. And then 2019, again, busiest year pre-pandemic. We had 267 sales in that first half of the year. Average price point was $721,000 or $513 per square foot. And properties were averaging about 64 days on the market back in 2019. So we've seen an average price increase since 2019 of about 32%. So our market's still really strong. Why are prices going up? Well, predominantly it is driven by the lack of inventory. We have seen buyer demand drop, but we've also seen inventory drop, and inventory just is not recovering. And so we are still seeing multiple offers on a number of properties in Canmore, and I think that's what's driving the price more so than anything else. I think if we were into a balanced market, if we had more inventory, we'd probably see prices starting to drop a little bit by now. But that lack of inventory is really helping prices continue to rise. We'll have to see. The Bank of Canada today, July 12th, they just announced another increase in their base rate. So now it is at 5% for the Bank of Canada rate. So we'll have to see what that does for a knock-on effect for interest rates and how people can, an affordability standpoint in Canmore. All those people that got those low interest rate mortgages 3, 4, 5 years ago, we might start to see more inventory coming in the next 18 months, depending on the affordability factor for those folks that purchased back then and what kind of interest rate they can get when they go to refinance. But we'll know more, I guess, as we move through the second half of this year, as well as into 2024. As always, if you've got any questions about the Canmore real estate market, my contact information is below. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.